This is key. Learn it or find somebody that has it. Don't be afraid if you don't know something. Ask.
Yeah, I have another good friend of mine on the speaker circuit, and he said one day, he said, here's what you need to do. You need to learn it, you need to do it, and then you need to delegate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This is so key because you need to know how to do it in case if the other guy fails or doesn't come on Monday.
Yeah, and it's just education.
And this is so key. Jesus Christ, I never actually thought about it, but this is exactly what I've done. You know, every single aspect of my business, I know how to do it myself. So in case if somebody doesn't come, I know how to do it, except the welding maybe. But yeah, this is so key. Could we jump into a little bit of the seminar talk? Because the great speakers, Brian Tracy and all these guys, they are amazing. They've changed my life, you know. Like Brian Tracy, the way he talks on seminars, he actually shares what you're saying. He tells stories. And I remember some of his stories till now, you know, just because they were in the format of a story, not just knowledge as if, you know. But how did you get to know these guys? I mean, some guy from Ireland, from Limerick, how? I could even, especially back in the day, there was no Instagram. You couldn't just DM at Brian Tracy, you know.
I often say I took out a mortgage and booked a flight. Because back in those days, you had to take a mortgage to book a flight. They were so expensive. And I flew. I went. And
Did you actually do that?
Oh, yeah. I went and worked with these people. I invested my money. I often tell a story. I was doing stuff with Stephen Covey.
Talking about risks.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, you know the 7 Habits, right? Mm-hmm. So I done the 7 Habits program in Manchester many, many years ago. And the flight to Manchester was not a cheap flight either, right? And I remember going over. It was a 4-day program. And there was a guy with me who was one of my business partners in a security training company as well. And again, the same guy I was talking about who was my closest confidant. He had said to me, this was on. And I said, you know what, we'll go. And I think it cost me £4,500 sterling each, which was a lot of money back then. And
what year was that in? 80 something?
Oh, 90s.
90s, yeah, £4,000 would have been a lot of money back then, I'd say.
Yeah, and so I booked us in. And it was so funny. I bought the 2 tickets. It cost me £9,000 sterling for the tickets, right? It'd probably be about, I guess, 30 grand now, right? You know? And so we were going to Manchester for 4 days. So then I went on to book the flights. And my card was declined. And I'm going, hell is going on here? I didn't have enough money in my account. I was short £5 for my flight, right? So I said, I'm going to get the money in. And I got money into the account and I booked my flights. But then I realised, here I'm going to Manchester for 4 days and I have no money in my account. How am I going to eat? Right? Now, some people might have thought, and I still could have backed out, by the way, and I would have got a full refund. I had plenty of time to back out. But I got on a flight in Shannon Airport, and I often laugh, I had a stack of ham sandwiches that last me for 4 days. I brought packed lunches, because that's what I was going to do. I'm committed here.
You couldn't no stop.
Right? No, but I knew I was going to get something of value. Now, as it turns out, thankfully, you know, I had guys working in my office. I said, guys, we had a lot of debtors. I said, start collecting this money and collect it fast. So we did, and we collected a lot of money. There was money back in my account before I even came back from Manchester. But it didn't matter. I was not going to miss out on this opportunity to learn. And for me, when I talk about learning, I wasn't just sitting there taking notes. The opportunity for me was whatever I'm going to learn here is coming back into this office with me next week and we're putting it into action. That was the reality. That was always my reality. Whatever I learn, I'm coming back and putting it into action. Then, from a seminar point of view, I had been doing some work on Brian Tracy's my go-to guy, and thankfully now he's a good friend of mine now, right? And
I've seen your picture with him. Yeah, it's just amazing to see that, you know, because that guy's my hero, by the way. You know,
he's a great guy.
Nobody better in there in the business world, in my opinion. How many books has he written?
He's now 91 world bestsellers, right? And 91. But remember something too. There is nobody. I don't know of anybody in this industry who's quoted more than Brian Tracy.
Yeah.
All of the big names quote Brian Tracy, right? Yeah. And like I have his cell number here. We have conversation, we talk on a regular basis, right? And I'll reach out to him and he'll reach out to me. And you know, we've done a webinar with me during lockdown as well. We brought a lot of good information and value to people, right?
No way.
And you know, to me, he was always been my go-to person.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call quite a few years back to say that Brian was coming to Dublin to launch a product and launch a company.
Is this happening?
No, this happened many years ago.
Oh.
And I was told that he wanted to have a European speaker and to do whatever it takes to get past Slattery to agree.
Oh, really?
And I said, let me think about it. No, right? And that's how I suppose we got into building that relationship with Brian. Then when I say we, with Donna, myself and Donna, we were in business. We weren't even partners at the time. We were in business together. We met, of course, in this industry. And so myself, Donna, and a guy called Gary McGeown, who was a business partner of ours, we started doing seminars. And then Donna actually reached out to Mark Victor Hansen, right, from Chicken Soup for the Soul, and told him what we're doing. And he jumped on a call with us and he said, he agreed to come to Ireland to speak for us. So he came, and Mark is a fascinating guy. Again, a good personal friend now, right? We speak again regular enough, and I done just during lockdown, they have a new book called Ask, and it's Ask the Askers. So we done a launch, and himself and his wife Crystal both and come on, and we done a webinar. We're launching their book with them here to our network in Ireland. And by the way, watch this space because they could be coming back to Ireland very soon, right? So we build a good, and this is what I'm saying to people. When you come with good intention, you build relationships with good people. And if you really want to, and I say this, if you want to really become wealthy, then trade minds with those that you want to influence and bring value to valuable people. And Mark came to Dublin to speak for us, his first trip to Dublin, and he was just blown away with what we were doing and with the audience. And I can tell you, he left, what an impression this man left with our audience. And in the middle of having dinner, we just talked about what we're doing. He said, what you're doing here is incredible. He said, there's nobody has ever done this in Ireland before. And he said, if there's anything I can do to help you. And somebody said, do you know Bob Proctor? He said, Bob is a great personal friend of mine. And I said, really? Well, then, would you ask Bob would he come and speak? He said, yeah, of course. Right? And I think Donna asked him then. And I said, well, would you do it now? He said, yeah. So he took out his phone.
Pulled his phone.
Right? And put Bob on loudspeaker. And we had him and another guy called Chris Guerrero. Chris was an internet marketer, but he would have done a lot of the marketing for the likes of Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, and a few other big names. And he was speaking at our seminar. And the two guys are going on, and Mark goes, hey, Bob, I'm here in Dublin, Ireland. He was, as crazy as they can be, right? And he said, Bob, you got to get here. And Chris is saying, yeah, we're here with the organisers. These guys, what they're doing here is going to change this economy. And this was back in 2008, right? So, when we were going through a tough recession at that time. Mm-hmm. And Bob said, yeah. He said, he introduced us on the phone and we had a conversation. He said, yeah. He said, I'll come. He said, when? And because we weren't expecting it. And I said, October 11th. And I just picked that date. Thankfully, it happened to be a weekend, right? And he said, so let me check my diary. So he went on. He said, yeah, I'm available to be in Ireland on October 11th. I said, so he said, it's in the diary. And so he said, look, are you really committed? 100%. Can we announce, because we had a 3-day event. And this was on a Saturday evening. So I said, can we announce tomorrow that Bob Proctor's coming to Ireland? He said, 100%. It's in my diary. I've committed to you. I'm there. Right? And that's how we got introduced to Bob. So then Bob came, and Bob had been back with us on 3 other occasions, right, since.
Where can people find your seminar? Are you still running them?
Yeah, well, I mean, people find me on social media. I mean, obviously during lockdown times are different, so we're coming back, right? We're doing a couple, and we've done a few little events. We have a Christmas networking lunch now that we're doing on December 16th, and it'll be for a charity, but it's going to be for networking. It's not going to be a seminar as such, but we're going to facilitate some things to make sure that people build really good, solid relationships on the day, and there's a good chance people will walk away with some business, right? Very good chance.